Finally, the Cliff has come back to YouTube. Wait a second. I am the Cliff. If you smell what I'm cooking, you're just an imposter, maybe a zombie. Oh, there's one way to get to the bottom of this. Rock bottom, that is. Wait, what? Oh, if you smell it, what the Cliff is cooking.
Hello, big kids. It's time for your
What up, big kids? Here's your big review of the Transformers Prime First Edition and RID Cliffjumper. Take a look at the First Edition packaging. It's in that nice blue First Edition packaging. This is actually from Canada, as you can tell from like the French-Canadian language on the side here. It says Transformers Prime Cliffjumper core, showing off a very nice Cliffjumper art, while the RID one has a different picture of Cliffjumper showing off his guns, includes Battle Hammer, and it has the RID, and it's cool that it's red, matching, you know, Cliffjumper's colors. Back of the packaging, you can see Cliffjumper's other first edition mates, which is RC and Bumblebee, which were released in the US. Cliffjumper, I think, was in certain parts, but not mostly in Canada and overseas. And you can see the Transformers Prime characters right there with Cliffjumper 2-in-1 vehicle robot, while the RD packaging has a little bio of Cliffjumper, unlike the first edition one, and it shows him with his battle hammer and how it uses in both modes, as well as look for your favorite robots on Transformers Prime. It's time to smell what the Cliff is cooking. So here we got the first edition and RID Cliffjumper, with the first edition one being on the right and the RID being on the left. They definitely have differences. Some I like and some I don't like. Let's take a look at the first edition. I do like the grille. He has these blue headlights. He has his little horns right there. I do like these blue windows, but there is a little gap right here which I don't like. Wish it was a little bit more flush, but it does look really cool. I do like also this silver Autobot symbol right there, and his exhaust pipes. Underneath here he has his head, but you know, not much robot junk is showing besides the head, but you know, who looks underneath a car unless you're working on it, you know, not while it's driving. The back here is has some silver bits with the headlight. It has, wish these little parts were painted silver, but whatever. And it has a little license plate thing, but I do like the blue windows a lot on this, and also there's no hole right here. Now the RID one, I do like the headlights. I like these nice blue, and it still has a nice grille painted, and the horns right there. The lines are, yeah, these are two completely different molds, which is really weird for not only Cliffjumper. They have original mold that's not a repainted Bumblebee, but to have two original molds, and not in counting his zombie Cliffjumper, but you know, his regular one. So that's a first, I think, ever for Cliffjumper. So yeah, you can see he has the silver exhaust pipes. Now his feet are showing more in his robot junk, but you do see his head a little bit. But yeah, they do pop out a little bit. Now he has clear windows, which are flush, more so than the blue ones, but I prefer the blue windows because you see all the insides and it looks very weird. Looks like, you know, like crashed inside of his own car. But the back here has some black instead of the you know, just the silver bit, but the silver is right here, and you don't really see any exhaust pipes here, like I said. And then he has the hole right here, which you replace his little hammer, which this hammer is kind of cool. It's like a gun hammer thing, so you put the peg right here. And they're doing this more with these RIDs. You put the gun right here, so I guess that's cool. Hammer time. Yeah, just side by side, they're almost the same size, like pretty much. I mean, you can just see the difference. Like, I don't like that hole, and I don't like the clear windows. But yeah, the lines here, I mean, it's more streamlined on top if it didn't have that hole. And then, you know, it just little bits like the front. I mean, it just like the differences, you can definitely tell these are two different molds. And there's no Autobot symbol right there too, as you can see. Size comparison with Bumblebee, that they are just slightly shorter in vehicle mode. Bumblebee is just slightly taller with his roof. And you can see what I mean by how tall and long, like they almost are the exact same length, just like I said, different molds. If you want to see the transformation for the first edition one that's on the left, click the annotation, or if you want to see the transformation for the RD one that's on the right, just click the annotation. But right now, let me skip to the robot mode. Here we got the Cliffjumpers in their robot mode. You can definitely see they're very different figures of the same character. and definitely with some major differences in color and transformation and everything. So let's take a closer look at the first edition. So I really like the first edition Cliffjumper a lot. The head sculpt's very nice. I like the black. You know, his arms are really cool. The hands, the headlights with the chest and everything. He just looks very cool. I mean, I really like it a lot. Just in terms of being show accurate, this one is definitely more so than the RID one, which I'll show here. I just love the head sculpt and the shoulders, and the arms look pretty good, except I'll get more into articulation. One thing I wish that it had was the swivel at the wrist, but you know, he has a horny butt, but yeah, who doesn't? So yeah, but he has some good light piping too. Now the RID Cliffjumper has an angrier head sculpt, not that much light piping at all, and it's very clear. Those gray bits are eh. I do like his abdomen area. It's very nice and has that cool split. His shoulders are definitely different. Like the wheels are on the shoulders instead of his wrists. Hands are pretty cool. At least they have more articulation, which I'll get into there. And his legs are pretty cool. I just can't believe that Hasbro gave Cliffjumper two completely different molds with the first edition, and just like so weird to me. I don't know, but whatever. I mean, this one is still cool. It's not a bad figure, but yeah, it's just not as nice as the the first edition. Articulation, the first edition Cliffjumper's head can fully rotate and go up and down a little bit, but he has some good range of movement. His arms are on these nice ball joints that can completely rotate, go in and out pretty far. They rotate at the bicep here, and they bend at kind of like a 2-point elbow thing, so very nice elbow. No wrist articulation, which kind of sucks, so he kind of has these awkward poses, but at least his guns make up for it. But he does have he has a waist joint, but it's stuck on here, you know, because of the transformation, so that kind of sucks. But he can move kind of a little bit even in the transformation. His legs go forward and back, in and out. They bend at the knee only that much because of the transformation. And they go in and out at the knee like that, or yeah, so it's kind of weird. But and his ankles pivot forward and back. He does have ankle pivot side to side, but just a little bit, so he has pretty good articulation. Now the RID Cliffjumpers, his head can rotate still and go side to side, only up and down a little bit. His arms rotate if you just gets hindered by the little wheel on the back here. They rotate at the upper part of the bicep, and they bend at the elbow. It's a kind of weird elbow joint because of the transformation, but yeah, I mean, at least the good thing, he has wrist articulation that can rotate and go in and out, so it rotates a little bit and goes in and out. He does have a waist joint a little bit more than the first edition, so he can get, you know, rotate if you're careful enough with the back pieces right here. His legs go forward and back, in and out. They bend at the knee and like a double joint, which is really good. So and it does pivot and rotate at the ankles, the feet right here. So pivot forward and back and rotate side to side, ankle pivot. So he kind of has a little bit more articulation than the first edition. First edition Cliffjumper doesn't come with any accessories, but he does come with an action feature. Now you open up his arms on either end, and then what you want to do is you want to flip out his gun right here. He has his three pistol gun, whatever, or yeah, and then he has on both sides, which is very cool and very show accurate, which I like here. So yeah, you would just open up sides right here and then flip it out this way, and then close it back up. And yeah, he has his guns, which just look really cool. I really like that a lot. RID Cliffjumper has that hammer. You can place it in his hand. It's hammer time. You can also hold it like a blaster, so that's cool that, you know, it's like a double weapon. You want the horns? You got them. You want the hammer? Well, it's hammer time, baby. I say to thee, you have stole thy weapon in thy joke. I would call shenanigans on this. Triple H, is that you? I'll see you at WrestleMania, sucker. Size comparison time. So here you can see that both Cliffjumpers are almost the same size. You know, just I think the first edition is just slightly taller than him, especially in the shoulders and with the horns. You can see It is smaller than other Deluxe Transformers Prime figures like Starscream, but he's pretty tall anyway. You can see that it's smaller than a normal 6-inch figure like WWE Elite John Cena or the Marvel Legends Extremist Iron Man, but he is taller than a Marvel Universe figure like Spider-Man. You have 2 different Cliffjumpers, and you want to know which one you can get. Well, that's the hard thing. So I definitely like the first edition Cliffjumper in many ways. I like the vehicle mode better. I like the robot mode better. I like the action feature with the guns better than the hammer. The only bad thing is that he's really hard to come by. And I don't know if Hasbro will release him stateside anytime soon. So you would have to pay like around 40-50 bucks just to have that figure to get it from Canada or overseas, and to pay like scalper prices. Or you can find the RD Cliffjumper for regular deluxe prices, 10-13 bucks anywhere now, and it's still a great figure. I mean, it has even more articulation. The hammer gun thing is not that bad. It's not that bad in robot mode and vehicle mode. It's just not as nice as the RD one. So if you want the more show accurate one and you want to pay the money, and Cliffjumper from that one episode Transformers Prime is a must-have show accurate figure, pay the extra to get the first edition. Or you can just, if Cliffjumper just a character you want but you don't care about having the most show accurate one but still want a good figure, just get the RID one, because you can find it pretty much anywhere now, Toys R Us, Target, Walmart, whatever. So yeah, but like I said, both are good figures, but I definitely recommend the first edition one if you have the money for it. For more geek news, reviews, and more, check out bkbn.net. I'm Sean Long. Remember to celebrate your nerdom in a big way. In brightest day, in blackest night.
Urban Collector is tight. If you like superhero video game, movie, action figures, replicas, t-shirts, and more, check out Urban Collector. They take all credit cards and PayPal, plus do pre-orders with urban-collector.com. You don't need a power ring to be a superhero, but I think they sell them too. Awesome!
Hey Cliffy, you can't see me. You can't see me. I can see you, Fruity Pebble. And you know what? It's time to bring my metal boots to your asses. Hey Cena, do you like MC Hammer, Fruity Pebble? Wait, you can't touch that.